Hello, it is I, Dharma, also known as the Entertainer, also known as your Demi-Omnic Queen, and welcome back again today. Now, today we're going to be continuing the story of Modir's fate and what happened. So, for a miniature recap of how it ended last time, Atlas was hanging out in the castle, looking at some books, reading some scrolls, all that good stuff. Marine's in her little cabin making soup. Sunbeam has snuck out of the kingdom and decided to take a long journey to figure out what exactly is happening to him. And Sid has gone missing, only leaving his crown to sit idly in his throne. So let us continue. So Sunbeam is walking down the long road, continuing his journey on through the birch forest, walking on and on and on and on, all throughout the night till sunrise, where he decides to sit on a nice little rock and just chill for a while. Meanwhile, back in the Cold Kingdom, Atlas has been scrolling through scrolls all night long before returning to the castle to see Sid. Now, Sid, the actual person that plays Sid wasn't here for this session, so that's why we're not going to be mentioning him a lot, but we're mentioning him here because Atlas decided to put him in as a little plot point here. But anyways, so Sid had reappeared sometime during the night with the crown upon his head, acting very strange. Atlas tries to get through to him, talking to him before it escalating into an argument about where Atlas is trying his best to get through to Sid, but Sid is just staring blankly off into space. Atlas begins screaming and roaring to the point where earthquakes go on throughout the land, and all is not well. Marine wakes up in her cabin due to these earthquakes and tries to dismiss them off as just Atlas being Atlas, not really knowing the extent of what's going on. Marine decides to go and visit the main castle in the Cold Kingdom and finds Atlas there. Atlas shortly explains to Marine what the prophecy is, her part in it, and the part of Sunbeam, kind of keeping his and Sid's part to himself, and Marine realizes that she's in this for the long haul. So it goes. And with this, Atlas and Marine decide to go off together to go see Sunbeam as they try to make a plan of attack for the giant black flower that's currently sucking the land dry of all of its nutrients. No, not the plants! Not the plants! So, yeah. So, Marine and Atlas go to visit Sunbeam, but upon knocking, they find nobody to be there. Now, while all of this has been going on, Sunbeam has continued his journey and made his way all the way to the Black Flower. Now, I must admit here that my character of Sunbeam kind of made the journey to the Black Flower really quickly, especially considering that it was halfway across the country. But I was getting impatient at this time, so we're just gonna pretend that this is totally and utterly normal. Shut up, storm clouds. I said shush, storm clouds. I'm sorry. Apparently, Virginia has decided that its weather is on a schedule now, and around 3 o'clock-ish, it will begin thundering for no particular reason. So, anyways, Sunbeam is, on his way and finally reaches the Flower of Darkness, the one and the only. Now, initially, he stays far back, especially from the corrupted land and roots around the flower. To him, he had enough common sense to stay off of that, but not enough common sense to not go here in the first place. He feels, however, he feels a strange gravitational force that somehow makes his common sense fly away, and so he decides to take steps forward towards the flower. In doing so, the flower begins to speak to him. At this point in the story, I wasn't fully playing the part of the Flower of Darkness, but just a quick, funny little side note here, I became the one who plays the Flower of Darkness because of this. So, yeah. I just think that's funny, because, like, in the one roleplay where I don't play multiple characters, I end up playing multiple characters. It's just funny. Anyways, so, yeah, Sunbeam makes his way up to the very edge of the corrupted land, listening to the goddess of death, which is the lady who has spawned this flower and is talking through it and its roots. She begins to ask him to kneel before her as a weight begins to settle on Sunbeam's shoulders. Now, Sunbeam, having been loyal to his kingdom and to his new acquaintances so far, is not giving in. But after enough godly pressure exerted by the Flower of Darkness, he, along with his legs, give in, and he kneels, causing him to become corrupted. The entirety of his eyes turn black, and he gets strange red tattoos on his face. So yeah. Meanwhile, back in the Cold Kingdom, Marine and Atlas are getting incredibly worried as neither of them can hear Sunbeam from inside and the door is locked. They both get incredibly worried, but soon enough they have bigger problems to deal with, as two gigantic roots from the Flower of Darkness spear into the Cold Kingdom, destroying many buildings and nearly the entire kingdom itself. One comes in from one direction, almost nearly stabbing them from the right. The other comes in as a surprise attack from the left, nearly killing them, if it wasn't for Atlas's shield. Now, of course, both of them begin trying to attack these roots, but to no avail, as only more roots come creeping in. One completely and utterly destroys the cabin that Sunbeam had been living in at the time, and reveals that Sunbeam wasn't there the entire time. Another thing that they really need to worry about. And so, once the roots have settled down, they both go back into the castle temporarily to gather up supplies and things like that, because they absolutely need to find Sunbeam now. Back at the Flower of Darkness, Sunbeam is fully corrupted and goes under the alias of the Lone Watchman, or something of that, the Lone Knight, Lone Watchman, I'm just gonna call him the Lone Watchman, and puts his knight helmet back on before making his way back to the Cold Kingdom, having pledged his allegiance to the Flower of Darkness, and telling her everything that he knows about Atlas, Marine, the prophecy, him, everything. She knows it all now. Great. So, Sunbeam makes his way back to the Cold Kingdom, yet again in a relatively short amount of time, because yet again I got bored and decided I will return now. So, Sunbeam enters the kingdom, and both Marine and Atlas are trying to destroy one of the roots, or at the very least figure out how or if they could even destroy it. Atlas senses that something is very, very wrong and attempts to make an escape with Marine, both of them climbing down the rougher side of the mountain to try and escape to safety in the water. But Sunbeam catches up and finds them summoning his shadow powers and not saying a thing, even as both Atlas and Marine scream at him to please stop using your newfound fire magic against us, as well as your power of shadows. However, Sunbeam doesn't listen, and Marine scoops up Atlas and swims off with him. Sunbeam, having not completed his mission and in fact failed, goes back up into the Cold Kingdom to wait for them, going and sitting on the throne, tossing Sid's crown aside. Sitting on the throne, Sunbeam talks against the Black Flower, realizing that what he has done is wrong, but at the same time belittling himself the entire time, bringing himself down and ultimately making himself weak against them. The Black Flower's voice then creeps into the heads of Atlas and Marine, telling him the next morning after they get a good night's rest that Sunbeam is weak and to get him now, because the only reason why the Black Flower wanted Sunbeam under her control was if she gets one of the children of the prophecy, basically everybody in this role play so far, under her control, she gains more power and is able to corrupt more of the land and spread her roots farther. And since Sunbeam has already allowed her to do this, she no longer needs him. So Atlas immediately rushes off to go take out Sunbeam, or at the very least slap him really, really hard. And Marine goes off chasing after him, saying that it's dangerous, but at the same time she knows that Sunbeam needs help. So once they make it up to the kingdom and to Sunbeam, Sunbeam is kneeling at the floor, not responding whatsoever. Atlas runs up and slaps the crap out of Sunbeam, which only provokes him and makes him angry, causing him to summon his shadow powers yet again. Marine begins pleading with him, however, beginning to calm him down, asking him why he did this and what had happened. Once Sunbeam is calmed down, he just begins berating himself and belittling himself to the point where he didn't think anything mattered. Atlas then tells Marine privately that he knows of somebody who can take Sunbeam in and help fix him up. Marine then takes Sunbeam to them, and Sunbeam is gone for a very long time, off to therapy. And yeah, that's where I'm going to end it here for today, simply because it seems like a good stopping point. So yeah, and that is that. So anyways, if you all like me and want to support me in all of my future endeavors, then go ahead and check out the links in the description down below. The first one is to my podcast, Write What You Want to Read, Draw What You Want to See, where I give professional novel writing tips, tricks, and what not to do, as well as professional digital art creation tips, tricks, and what not to do. These are the same methods that I use for my creative writing, as well as for the digital art that you see in this very video, making up the video portion of it. So yeah, please do go check that out. Follow me over there, and go ahead and listen. I post it Monday through Friday over there, so you get some juicy stuff every single day. The second link in my description down below is to my Redbubble shop, Rainbowrific, where the main highlight is my LGBTQIA+ collection. Our most recent addition to that collection has been the gender fluid, abrosexual, agender, polysexual, demisexual, demigender, demigirl, demiboy pins, as well in addition to the many other pins that I have over there. We also have 3 shirts as well, one for this YouTube channel of my little demon character late night texting, another one for my podcast that says I have magic pants on it with a little picture of some trousers, and one that says love is love. The last link will be to my course, The Secrets to Digital Art with ProCreate, where which is something I've been working on for the past 2 years, a year and a half, something like that. I'm really proud of it, and I'm glad that it's finally up for you all to go and check out and enjoy if you decide to buy. So yeah, anyways, I will be seeing you guys later, and on to the next one.